My name's Shayna Fernando, and I met Fiona McDonald Baylis a year ago. In October last year, I met Fiona at a grief workshop, having just lost my younger sister to suicide. Trying to find my way out of that, I found my way into hospital. I had to stop working as a high school teacher, and I was in a space that I really didn't know how I'd get out of. I went to this workshop having never heard of Access Consciousness, having never met any of the people there, and I met Fiona. She was beautiful. For part of that night, she ran my bars, and I had no idea what that meant. But when I left that night, I knew something had shifted, because suddenly I had space to think about something else, something other than my sister, and something other than how I was going to continue my own life. I didn't know what had gone on, but I messaged Fiona to say thank you. She called me, and she was just completely there. She helped me to shift some more things over the phone. She spoke to me about allowance and my ability to receive, and she invited me to learn the bars at Mount Walsh Bush Retreat at her workshop just a few weeks later. I didn't know how I was going to afford it. I wasn't working, I didn't know how much it would cost, but I said yes. I still didn't really know what the bars were, but I said yes because somewhere I knew that I had to be at that class. Just a few days later, I got a phone call from my employer saying that I'd been underpaid for 5 years, and all of a sudden my ability to receive saw $30,000 put into my bank account. My husband drove me to Mount Walsh Bush Retreat, and I could hardly believe my eyes. I'm sure it was the most beautiful place I think I'd ever seen, and the bars class was just as incredible. Nearing the end of that first day, I knew that I couldn't go. I also knew that I had the money to make the rest of the 5 days to change a possibility. Suddenly, I could stay for not only the bars class, but for Foundation and Level 1 of Access Consciousness, and I couldn't go. I asked if I could stay, and Fee said of course I was welcome, and those 5 days changed my entire life. They weren't easy. I think I was more vulnerable in those 5 days than I'd ever been in my life. But I felt completely safe. Fiona juggles the energy like no one I've ever seen, and even in front of 5 people I'd never met before this class, I felt so able to let everything go and really start shifting things for the better. I can also say that the earth at Mount Walsh Bush Retreat, being so close to nature, is such a contribution to the class, and something like I've never experienced at any other access class. Waking up in the bush cabins, totally surrounded by a symphony of birds, was totally amazing and like nothing I'd ever experienced. There are just so many, they're so beautiful, and their sound is like nothing else. The food and the hospitality and the company at Mount Walsh Bush Retreat is beautiful, and something that I couldn't wait to tell my husband about when he came to pick me up. But when he did arrive, I had made choices that I didn't think I'd be able to make for another 5 years. He was excited and totally jumped on, and just a year later, our whole life has changed. We've moved towns. I've resigned from my job as a high school teacher. I'm now a practicing artist, doing what I love every single day, making more money than I did when I was teaching, and how does it get any better than that? That's not something I ever thought was possible. My husband and I are to a point where we can start thinking about a family. We've found our feet and we're choosing for us, and in this 10 seconds we couldn't be any happier. I remember when he came to pick me up from the 5 days, and I got to hike up to the rock pools with him, something that we'd done as a group during the 5 days. But being able to do it with him and have him experience the magic of Mount Walsh was something so special, and something I don't think either of us will ever forget. So I would say, if you are thinking of attending Fiona's workshop in November, stop thinking and just dive in. If I'd continued thinking, I wouldn't be where I am now. And somewhere in you, you know that it's where you're supposed to be. If you're looking to change your life, or if you're looking to choose something else, I can't think of a better way to kick that off. If you've got any questions, ask Fee. I know that if I'm in a space, be it good or bad, if I have a question to ask, if I need someone to kick me up the bum or just tell me I'm doing okay, Fee's there. So stop thinking, dive right in, Allow the shifts and the magic to start happening now. And if it's light for you, choose Fiona McDonald Baylis, because every day, even now, she's changing my world.